Hi everyone, Summer here with AstariaSen, and today we are doing the readings for September. Now, I got a good reaction by last month's readings where I did the 3 different piles, so I will do that again. This pile is Love with the Crystal Visions Tarot. This pile is Finances and I'm using the Golden Art Nouveau for that one. And this one is the September General, you know, like what you need to know for September, what's coming for September for you. And I am using the Embroidered Forest Tarot. So whichever one you want to do, you can, or you can do all 3 of them. I will have timestamps in the description for you. So just go ahead and pick your pile and we will go ahead and get started. Thank you guys so much for watching. And if you would like to leave me a tip, I do have my coffee link in the description as well. Let's go ahead and get started with pile number 1, which is going to be the love reading. All right, and we are back with the September 2021 love reading. This will be your underlying energy. I always choose a card from the bottom of the deck for that. So we're just going to put that right up here. And then we're going to go ahead and get started with the reading. I'm using the Crystal Visions Tarot as I find that it's really good for the love reading. And then I am using my brand new Fairy Temple Oracle for one of your oracle readings. And I am using the Forest Fae for your second, I guess, oracle card. Don't worry, they go really well together. I'm quite impressed with how they all work together. Even with separate decks, these work really well together. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. All right, I'm gonna move this up a little bit. That way everything fits in my screen. And here we go. Here is all the cards total. Woohoo! Look at all that. Beauty, 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 beauty. Okay, so it looks like you have 2 major arcanas, one at the beginning and one at the end. Okay, and then you have the King of Pentacles and 8 of Swords. Your underlying energy is the 5 of Swords. Now let's start with the underlying energy. So the underlying energy of this reading is the 5 of Swords. You can tell that she feels like she's kind of been stabbed in the back, and he's walking away. He is flat out walking away. So keep that energy in mind. It does not necessarily mean that some horrible thing has happened. It's just more this idea that everything comes with a double edge, that there can be betrayal, there can be loss, but there's also a learning to accept and facing boundaries, and that adjustments might need to be made in order to like put changes into place and resistance to those changes can make things extremely difficult. Okay, so just know that choices will probably have to be made this month. And it could be really tiny choices or really big choices. I don't see any tower moments in here or anything like that. So I don't think these are like big betrayal moments or anything like that. Okay, your overlying energy is this oracle card, which is the Lily of Love. Transformation, enliven, and regenerate is the key words for it, but it's about how love grows from adversity, and we're looking at this underlying energy right here with the 5 of Swords, which kind of goes with that adversity, right? And that sometimes we have to surrender past hurts, and that with every ending there is a new beginning. So regrowth and renewal is ultimately inevitable. And finally, your last oracle card is to Away We Fly. Take the cloud roads, delight in your imagination. So that's just like an energy you can just hold on to, is because, you know, you are your own person, and your imagination can take flight in good and bad ways. So just keep that in mind. All right, so we'll start out with the first card, which is the Star card. Now, I often refer to this card as hope. I see it as a very positive card. It marks like a happier phase of life is coming towards you. That fulfillment is coming your way, that you've worked for some of this positivity, and that if you're open to it in new relationships, that those new relationships will be open to you as well, okay? But if you're currently in a relationship, this could be an opportunity card of creating something new with your long-term partner. This card right here is the King of Pentacles, and I feel like this represents the partner in the relationship, whether it's a new partner or a long-term partner you've already had. A very cultured, refined person, mature. And it might even be, if you're single, it might be someone that you're going to meet in the near future. If it's somebody already in your life, this person is somebody you can rely on. So that's a good thing, especially next to the Hope card, okay? Next up is the Eight of Swords. This is usually seen kind of like a negative card, but I don't really see it in a lot of negative terms. It's like this conscious, you're conscious of all the available choices, you know, because you can get out of this and you're not exactly blind to it, but you may not be looking at it because you don't want to. And that can refer to self or somebody else. And I think that the Eight of Swords is also like a feeling of being trapped. You're not trapped, but you feel like you are. And you can be your own worst enemy. You can change things though, and you might even be feeling a little vulnerable if it's a new relationship that you are getting into or wanting to get into. That new relationship might make you feel a little more vulnerable, okay? Your final card is the World, and again, Major Arcana card, but the World is all about balance and being guided by outside forces to, you know, something successful, particularly inside, like spiritual growth, stuff like that, which can really lend to relationships in your life, okay? Everything is available to you, and what you choose in a relationship will probably prosper for you. Even if it's an end of an old cycle, there's a beginning of a new cycle. So choose what will please you and don't get in your own way with fear, okay? So overall, I want to just point out some big things to notice in the cards. There is a circle back feeling in these cards. For example, the Star card has the circle. The World card, not only is the World a circle, but there's circling butterflies around her. The swords are in a circle around her as well as the crows, okay? And then for the King of Pentacles, he has a circle crown that's circling around. So all of these cards are like circling back into each other. And even if you look at like the Five of Swords, there's this circling back to each other, okay? That is happening, which really like flows into that almost spiral form of the Hope card of the Star, okay? So really consider what you want in the relationship and take some time to not focus so much on what you don't, or I guess not focus on it, but like don't be blind to what's going on. And if you're in a current relationship, consider working through them. Consider, you know, growing from the adversity that might be there. And it's not like a big thing. It's going to hurt. Something's going to hurt you if you're already in a relationship, okay? But, you know, that happens. And if you're single, don't be afraid of this pain, because that's where you're going to stand in your own way, okay? So if you're going to meet somebody new, go out there and meet somebody new. Now's the time to do it. You definitely have good energy for it. And if you're in a long-term relationship, you have good energy for continuing that long-term relationship. There is a lot of hope in this reading. So I hope that helped you. Let me know down in the comments if this reading worked well for you. I'd really appreciate it. All right, we are moving on to reading number 2, which is financial. All right, everyone, here is reading number 2, and we are back for your September financials, okay? Money-wise, abundance, those kind of things. We are using the Golden Art Nouveau for this reading. Again, I took the underlying energy from the bottom of the deck that will be placed with this reading. We have the 2 oracle cards. This one right here is from the Fairy Temple Oracle, and this one right here is from the Forest Fae Oracle. This is like your overlying energy, this is your underlying energy, and this is just a message for you. And then we will go into the actual tarot cards. Look at all these pretty cards. Okay, let's move these around so we can actually see what cards we have. Get you up in frame here. There we go. There we go. Well, not perfect, but it'll work, right? It'll work. Okay, so first thing we need to know is that there's going to be, like, looking at these cards, you've got the Tower card, you have the underlying Empress card. You have a vocal card here. You have a trusting yourself and your wisdom here. So I think there's going to be some dramatic change needed, and trusting in yourself and doing what needs to be done. There's going to be a speaking up aspect, believing in yourself, and you can make these changes happen. That's just overall based off the cards that I'm looking at, because the Tower card's always about a dramatic change, right? It's a situation that's being brought up that maybe you're ignoring or denying, but there is a need for change or something that needs to be fixed, and you're probably already aware of it, even if you don't want to outright admit to that. And you know it, obviously. It could be a loss of a job, or it could be the change of a job, or that you need to change something in the job that you're currently working at, okay? So it doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be fired tomorrow, but it could be the possibility that maybe you feel the need to quit, and there's a reason for that, and you really need to dive into that reason. The job might be making you miserable, and it's okay to quit. Or maybe you've lost a job that was making you miserable, but there's a good reason that when you work somewhere that's miserable, you don't want to be there anyway. So if you've lost the job, then just consider it a blessing, because that Tower moment is dramatic change, but it's destroying a structure in order for you to pick up the pieces and rebuild. And that also includes old habits, okay? So keep that in mind. Your underlying energy, the Empress, is all about nurturing yourself, or nurturing in general, I guess. But I think that this particularly is a nurture of oneself, just based off all the other cards in this reading, okay? So that nurturing energy is your underlying. Your overlying energy is sing, which is all about your voice needs to be expressed. You need to communicate and not suppress the things that you want or that you need, and to honor your own feelings. Make sure you speak up, okay? And then the card that's just for you is the trusting your inner wisdom, because you know yourself best and what you need best, honestly, okay? So right, let's work right into the Nine of Pentacles, which is interesting, right? Pentacles are all about finances, money, physical, those kind of things, right? So the Nine of Pentacles is maybe that you want to be independent from some of your financial stresses, or maybe you're depending on others for your financial well-being. You need to figure out how to not do that, how to regain the things that you have lost instead of relying on somebody else for that financial freedom, and start freeing yourself. And this Ace of Pentacles is telling you that when you do that, you are actually going to make it better, because this Ace of Pentacles is all about those new opportunities. It's about opening of new doors, new successes, new enterprises, new money, new ambition. It's the successful planting of seeds, okay? It's the idea that your prosperity can come to you, but you also have to be open to see it. So letting go, trusting yourself, speaking your own truth, nurturing yourself, allowing these changes to happen, okay? And bringing yourself up from underneath that state of maybe negative being that you might be in with work or money. Once you bring yourself up, once you open yourself up to new opportunities, they will come for you, okay? And that leads you right into the Strength card, which is so cool, because strength is all about that inner willpower, that inner fortitude, that idea that if you have faith in yourself, that if you know who you are, then you're going to make these things happen. So it's a really positive reading, even if it seems a little dim in the beginning, because it's all about that idea that something needs to fall in order for it to be built back up, and you can build it back up no matter what it is. This doesn't mean that you are at some huge financial loss necessarily. It could just simply be that you are seriously unhappy at your job and you need to quit it in order to make the positive changes in your life that you want to see, okay? But it's all within your power. You need to speak up. You need to communicate even to yourself. So trust yourself this month, okay? All right, I hope this worked out for you. Let me know in the comments below if you enjoyed this reading, and we are going to move on to reading number 3. All right, we are back for the final reading of this month for September. I think I said August in the last one, so sorry about that. But anyway, September. So, here we have the underlying energy, which is the Magician. Okay, that is your underlying energy card. Isn't that gorgeous? Look at that. Okay, and I am using the Embroidered Forest Tarot for this reading. So we're going to put these cards right up here. Then we have the Fairy Temple Oracle card, okay, and the Forest Fae Oracle card. So this is your overlying energy, this is your underlying energy, and this is just a note to yourself. And let's take a look at the cards. All right. Ooh, look at how pretty they are, pretty pretties. Okay, let's see if we can move them up so you can see them better. Okay, so we have the Priestess, we have Death here. We have the Four of Swords, and we have the Five of Cups, okay? Now, first off, in this reading, I just want to make note that there is some really interesting energy going on. If you take a look at, like, say, the High Priestess and the Four of Swords, look how the owl is sitting on something, the bee is sitting on something. So these are like almost like foundation cards. They feel foundational energy to me because it's a resting place. It's a place they're sitting. It's a place they trust that's not going to fall. There's a lot of foundation involved there. And then with these two cards right here with Death and the Five of Cups, notice how the snake is swirling in and out and the swan is kind of swirling around. Then there's also the flowers. So you start off with a flower that's not fully bloomed yet and goes into a full-on bloom, okay? And then again here, the flowers do the same thing. You move through the process of a blooming flower. So that's a really interesting concept within these cards that are kind of playing off of each other. Now what that means, well, let's see if we can figure it out in the reading because that's a lot to think about, right? So let's start off with your underlying energy, which is the Magician. Okay, this is the underlying energy of your reading as a whole, and it's that idea that what is the most effective thing that you can do for yourself. You have all of these tools at your disposal. You are capable of making transformations of yourself, of your world, of your life, of the things that you want. So this transformational energy, this unmistakable effectiveness that you have is your underlying energy for this reading, okay? Now your overlying energy is truce, and this is about how you can negotiate, you can call a truce about things that are going on in your life. Healing and forgiveness needs to begin, and they can't begin until you've negotiated things in favor of both parties or both obstacles or both trains of thought, however you want to see that. You want to do, take away the negative, take away the drama, and do what's in your best interest, okay? You want that in order to gain any kind of prosperity in any way, whether it's relationships, finances, general, it doesn't matter what it is, even self, okay? So let's start off with the High Priestess, which is the first card in this reading. Something is hidden and it's going to be revealed. It's just on the surface, or it's just revealed, or something like that, okay? And the question you can ask is, have you been lying to yourself? Whether it's about a person, whether it's about you, whether it's about a job, whether it's about a place, whether it's about a specific incident, whatever it is, have you been lying to yourself? You need to listen to your intuition. You need to listen to your gut because it's most likely right, okay? Tune inside. What do you need to see that you are pushing down? Something may also be just beneath that surface, that inner surface. So take a look at it, okay? Don't just ignore it. And remember that underlying Magician energy, you have the power to transform things to wherever you need it to be, okay? Let's go into Death. And Death is also all about that transformation. It's about transforming anything into something else. Something needs to die. It's a cycle of death for something to begin to regrow. And this doesn't have to be super huge. It could be a simple act of bad habits, negative thoughts. It could even be a toxic relationship that needs to stop. But it's a clean start that's going to come from it and be better for you. It's a cycle you are clinging to, but it needs to end at the same time. There's a promise there that new life will come from it if you can just let it go. Let go of the old ways. They need to be destroyed in order to make room for the new, which is going to lead right into the Four of Swords. And remember, we were talking about foundations here, right? So maybe what's being revealed is something about your foundation, a foundation in a relationship, a foundation in a job, a foundation with yourself even, that some kind of stable foundation. This is a recovery period, this card is. It's about working through your problems, which is probably what's going to be revealed from this High Priestess, okay? And working through them is by letting go of those problems, letting them go, dealing with them, working through them in order for the new to come, in order for you to move beyond those problems and to recover, okay? Which is going to lead us right into the Five of Cups. And that's the time to face the facts. Don't continue in a negative state. Don't continue in a negative emotional state, or even just an emotional state. It will lead you down the wrong path. Instead, maybe work on how things can be better in your future, because that transformation in the Magician is all about that, right? That future transformation. Death is about transformation. So I really think transformation is a big part of this general reading for September for you, and how you have that ability to do it. And you need to actually look at it. Don't ignore it, okay? And don't stay in a fragile, negative state of emotional being, because that's not going to serve you at all from this Five of Cups, okay? Look how the swan is all curled around itself. When you're curled around yourself, you aren't going to get the help you need. You're not going to come out of it easily. You need to open yourself up, okay? And here, right here, is the Troll Fae, which is your message just for you. And it says, follow the secret signs, as treasures can be found where you least expect them. So why don't you go find them? Go find those signs. Go find those secret treasures. Don't curl into yourself. Don't curl into your negativity. Flower, bloom, like these cards are doing, okay? These are blooming flowers, so don't let the hidden, don't let the things that you maybe can't even control steal that bloom from you, okay? Go out and make that bloom for yourself. Create that transformation. Go from closed to open, because you can. All right, that is the end of the readings. I really hope this resonated with you. Please let me know down in the comments, and thank you guys so much for watching. Have a very great day.